Welcome to the Stanserhorn. This is an amazing mountain peak right between Mount Pilatus and Mount Rigi that you can reach in less than an hour from the city of Lucerne.
We're going to show you what to do here and how to get up here. Plus, a visit to the Stanserhorn pairs perfectly with a trip to the Bürgenstock and the Hammetschwand Lift. So that's where we'll end our day. But first, let's admire the views. From the Stanserhorn cable car station, there's an easy 30-minute circular summit trail with jaw-dropping views along the way of Lake Lucerne, the village of Stans, Engelberg Valley, and beyond. The path from the summit station to the very top is mostly paved, maybe a little bit of gravel, and it should only take you about 5 or 10 minutes to get up there. And once you're there, you're actually under 1,900 meters of elevation, so you shouldn't have to huff and puff too much. I know the hike to the summit is uphill, so you might be wondering, is it worth it? Nah, just kidding. You get a 360-degree view, and I love that in like one glimpse, you can see from Rigi to the Bürgenstock to Lucerne and all the way to Pilatus. And that doesn't even include this other side where you can see the Eigermonk and Jungfrau, the Brienzer Rothorn, Titlis, and the list goes on.
Not to mention that the Stanserhorn has more than 200 different kinds of alpine flowers, including 13 different orchid varieties, so you'll have plenty to keep you entertained while you take this walk. There are two more really neat things along this circular loop, and the first is a madness of marmots. Yes, I literally had to look that up, and a group of marmots is called a madness. There's been a madness of marmots here since 1912. In the summer, you'll see them running and playing and eating and building their houses so they can hibernate all winter, and I just think they are fascinating to watch. I also love to learn, so here's your fun fact of the day. Marmots whistle to each other when there's danger. So if you whistle while you're here, they're all gonna run away and hide. So I don't recommend that because one, you'll scare them, and two, they'll all hide and you won't be able to see them. And they're so cute, you wanna see them. By the way, right next to where the marmots live is a great picture spot.
The second cool thing about this circular loop is that you can meet a Stanserhorn ranger. There's a team of 17 volunteer rangers, and every day one of them is hanging out along this loop and is available to answer your questions between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. about the plants, the wildlife, and just the history of the Stanserhorn. We got to meet Ranger Gerhard and asked him his favorite thing about the Stanserhorn, and he said the views. And I have to agree. In fact, we both love the same exact view, which is the one toward the mountains, including our hometown mountains of the Eigermonk and Jungfrau. But we also asked him how many mountains and lakes you can see, and he was like, at least 600 different lakes, and I'm sorry. And he said, well, I don't know, but at least 600 mountains and about 10 different lakes. A couple of those are tiny and difficult to spy, but we personally counted at least 7. Now that we're back near the cable car station, here's what else you can do up at the Stanserhorn.
First up is the revolving restaurant. This star-shaped self-service restaurant opened in 2001 as the first revolving restaurant in central Switzerland. As you sit and enjoy your meal, you can watch the landscapes go by while the restaurant completes one revolution every 43 minutes.
Speaking of food, of course you can taste classic Swiss dishes here, but they're particularly well known for their Alpine macaroni made with 100% Swiss ingredients, as well as spelt fruit bread, local sparkling wine, Streckfurst sausage with Stanserhorn apples and herbs, and Krimschnitte, which we hear always sells out fast, especially when I'm here. Naturally, we got the Streckfurst because we really enjoy trying the local meats and the Alpine macaroni because we're in the Swiss Alps.
And they have little marmot cakes. Oh my gosh, it says it's a hazelnut little cake. That is really precious. Thank you for surprising me, Brett.
We just finished eating and we were talking about whether we think it's better to sit in the revolving restaurant or outside on the terrace. Obviously, being in the restaurant is cool because you get all the views and you don't get sunburned. But this middle platform is actually the part that revolves, so you don't actually get to sit right next to the windows. So if you want the very best views, maybe being out on the terrace is better for you.
Before we leave the restaurant, we wanted to mention that in the summer on Friday and Saturday nights, they have a special candlelight dinner here in the restaurant because the lift stays open until 11 p.m. And honestly, that sounds super cool to see these views at sunset. Yes, please. Of course, you can bring your own picnic up to the Stanserhorn, but there are also a few different barbecue areas with complimentary firewood. There's also a viewing pod off of the restaurant's terrace if you want to glimpse one more view before you leave. You can go paragliding from most mountains in Switzerland, but you can actually go tandem hang gliding from the Stanserhorn if that's interesting to you. And last but not least is the Grand Tour photo spot on the panoramic terrace. We might be done with our adventures at the top of the Stanserhorn, but there are still more adventures coming, like riding on top of a cable car. The only other place we've done this is the royal ride from Wengen to Mannlichen in the Jungfrau region. So this is still a fun new experience for us. And while we enjoy the 7-minute ride down, let's tell you how to reach the Stanserhorn. You can easily take a train from Lucerne to Stans, where you'll hop on the first electricity-powered funicular, which also happened to be the steepest when it was built in 1893. After 9 minutes, you're transferred to the Cabrio Cableway, which opened in 2012 as the world's first double-decker aerial cableway. This is where you can ride on top of the cable car for no extra charge. But of course, you'll have to get up there before everyone else. The Stanserhorn is open from mid-April to mid-November from 8:15 a.m. to 5:15 p.m., although it does run until 11 p.m. when they host the candlelight dinner evenings. Departures happen every 30 minutes, but run as frequently as every 10 minutes on busy days.
You can buy tickets online, on the SBB app, or from the Stanserhorn station. In 2024, an adult round-trip ticket costs 82 francs, and you get a 50% discount with the half-fare card, or a 25% discount with the Eurail or Interrail pass. Better yet, this ride is completely free with the Telpass, Swiss Travel Pass, SBB Day Pass, or Saver Day Pass. Personally, we highly recommend the Telpass when you're in Lucerne because it provides free transportation to basically every peak in the area. Kids under the age of 6 and small lap dogs ride for free. Kids between the ages of 6 and 15 are 75% off when accompanied by a parent or free with the Swiss Family Card. Larger dogs are also 75% off. And finally, the Stanserhorn is proudly accessible to handicapped travelers and families with strollers. And here are 2 more bonus tips. If you aren't traveling with some sort of train pass or just have the half-fare card, the Stanserhorn breakfast package is an amazing deal that includes your ascent, descent, and breakfast for 83 francs full price or 46 francs with the half-fare card. If you fall into this category, you basically get a free breakfast with your ride. And second, you can buy an optional online boarding pass for 2 francs, which gives you a specific reservation time for the journey from Stans. If you don't have a train pass and need to buy a ticket, we recommend that you buy it online through their website, since this timed boarding pass is included for free with online ticket purchases. Online tickets and the online boarding pass need to be booked before 9 a.m. on the day of your visit. So if you're wanting to do this, we recommend getting it booked at least by the night before.
Okay, we have made it down to the village of Stans. From here, our Telpass fully covers the 3-minute train ride to Stans and then the 18-minute bus ride to Bürgenstock Resort.
Hang on. We're not here to schmooze you with luxury at this 5-star resort once frequented by famous folks like Audrey Hepburn and Sean Connery. We're just here to do a few things like a cliff walk and the highest outdoor elevator in Europe. But first things first, here's how to get here from Lucerne. You can take a boat across the lake to Kerzetten Bürgenstock and then ride Switzerland's first electric cable car up to the Bürgenstock Resort, which is also included in the Telpass. Or you can ride a train to Stanstad and then the bus like we did.
This resort includes 4 hotels, 10 restaurants, and the largest spa in Europe, as well as a variety of lounges, a movie theater, tennis courts, and a super cool infinity pool overlooking Lake Lucerne. Not to mention there are vineyards, gardens, dairy farms, and beehives up here too. First, we're heading to the suspension staircase, located just behind the cable car station, which was built using former suspension cables from the Stanserhorn Railway. I really wanted to see this because we've been on other suspension bridges before, but never a suspension staircase. So this is super cool. It's also cool because it's built using cables from the Stanserhorn, and we were just there this morning. And in case you were wondering, there's exactly 102 steps. Another thing to see at the Bürgenstock Resort is this chapel. Apparently, this is where Audrey Hepburn got married. Super cool. I tried to go inside. Unfortunately, the door is locked, but it is still a beautiful chapel. And it's very easy to find because it's right next to the start of the Felsenweg.
This 2.2-kilometer panoramic cliff walk was opened in 1905 after 5 years of blasting rocks, drilling tunnels, and erecting retaining walls. But the owner of Bürgenstock Resort didn't just want his guests to enjoy the cliffs. He wanted to give his wealthy, luxurious visitors a way to reach the summit. So that same year, he opened the highest and fastest outdoor lift in Europe, the Hammetschwand Lift.
This special elevator is only open in the summer from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and during good weather. It costs 18 francs round trip for adults, 9 francs for kids, and 8 francs for dogs. Or it is completely free with the Tail Pass, which is our favorite train pass for Lucerne and Central Switzerland, but unfortunately it doesn't offer any other discounts for other train passes. Once you step inside the elevator, you skyrocket up 152 meters total at a speed of 3.15 meters per second.
Look at these views. To be honest, we don't mind hiking to be able to see landscapes like these, but I totally understand why the rich and famous folks would rather be pampered with a cliff walk and an elevator. And not surprisingly, there's a restaurant on top, although it is closed right now. I just feel like it's so standard for the Swiss to build hotels and restaurants on top of practically everything. And you know what? The Swiss Alps aren't a bad place to dine with a view.
I know we already had great views earlier from the Stanserhorn, which is back here behind me, but these views are not so bad either. And that's what I love about this area of Lucerne, is that there are endless mountaintops and viewpoints and unique activities. So if you're looking for more things to do near Lucerne, check out our Lucerne travel guides or watch this next for more ideas. And we'll see you in Switzerland.